when you're doing the mirroring, you would wait until you had a lot of stuff finished, but I'm just going to show you how it works with the legs, and then we'll work our way up the chain of the body a little. Okay. So 1 and 25 are exactly the same. 13 is going to be the exact same pose, but flipped. So what I have right now is the same pose in 3 places, 1, 13, and 25. Every 12 frames, there's a contact pose. 1 and 25 are the same, but 13, I have to flip. There's a couple ways you can do the flipping. So if you really wanted to, you could go grab the foot pose and you could write down all the numbers, right? Just like an Excel sheet, and then go to the other one and then kind of match everything. Another way you could think of it is that, well, at this moment, I need a back foot. I need a back foot position. So I could go here and say, well, I just need to copy this. I'll grab that foot and I'll copy its back position, and I'll go to 13, and then I'll grab this one and then I'll paste it. Okay, so now that foot's back, and then like, oh, now I need a front pose position. And say, okay, I'll grab this one. I'll copy a front pose, and I'll go here, go to that one, and I'll paste in that one. Okay. Now there's a couple things that happen when you do copying and pasting. And one of them you can see in the front view is for this foot, X is a positive, right? Like if I move this way, it gets more positive. If I take this one and I move X, it gets more negative. So whenever you copy and paste across the mirror, you have to flip the sign because they're actually pointing in opposite directions. So what happens is this one, because it was moving to screen right, now this one, when I copied and pasted, it also moved to screen right. So nothing wrong happened. It's just that the arithmetic is pointing the wrong way. So what I'd have to do is go here and flip X. Now you can do this manually by just typing a minus sign in front, but I wanted to show you a way to do this with arithmetic so that you can do this more quickly with a lot of different channels. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to highlight the box, and then I'm going to say times equals -1. So this is how you have to type in arithmetic into Maya if you want to do any arithmetic with any of the channels. Add, subtract, or multiply. You have to start by telling Maya what it is you want to do. So I'm starting with an asterisk, right? So that's the multiply. Multiply, right? Okay, that's the operation. Equals, what do you want to multiply by? -1. Okay, so it takes that pose and flips it. So it's over there by -1. Okay, so that means it should hopefully be in the same spot. Okay, now as it would happen with this rig, it wasn't centered. So those two are not centered. So you can see one of the problems is this foot should be going in a straight line, but it is not. It's going to a different location left and right. So the real question is I have to look at this and see which one do I like more? Which pose do I like more? And maybe I need to take this and hit the delete key and say, is that okay? Or is it something like this? So this rig is a little more challenging to mirror because what I want is when the foot's on the ground, it should move only in a straight line. So I have to look and see which pose do I like more. If I like the front pose, then that becomes my marker. Then I have to say, well, then these I have to match. And now it's a straight line, right? That they're all the same. So it'll just move front and back in a straight line. And the same thing with the other foot. I have to look at that and see, okay, where's the front pose, right? This one. So if I like the front pose best, then I'll delete this one, go to 13 and get the key back. Okay. So I want things moving in straight lines. Okay. Now, a faster way to flip this, you can see that I flip the poses one at a time. So I'm going to show you how I could do this a little more quickly. So I'm just going to delete this pose. I'm just going to go back to what I started with, just the first pose. So I'm on frame 13. This is the frame I want to flip things. Okay, I'm on that frame. And what I'll do is I'm going to select the front foot, and then hold down Shift and select the back foot. Maya remembers the order that you select things. This is 1 and 2. Then I do a copy. Okay, so I've copied it. Then I'm going to deselect, but now I'm going to select them in the opposite order, back, front. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to choose paste. A lot of the times what doesn't work out is translate X, right? That's usually the one that's across the mirror. So I've got both feet selected. I go here, times equals -1. And it just completely flipped the pose for me, right? So now it's been mirrored. The hip, I haven't adjusted that. So I was using the hip here to rotate, right, the hip, that needs to get flipped. If I look at what rotation this is, it's rotate Y. So you can look at that number, that's 8.4, whatever, same as this one. All that I need to do is put a minus sign here, and it's going to rotate in the exact opposite direction. So now what I have is the feet are exchanging positions, and I can see the hip is also rotating from one side to the other. As I mentioned, what I like to do is when I start blocking everything, I try to just keep everything in linear, because a lot of times when you start copying and pasting poses, you'll get these really jackknifed curves and feet will go below the ground or above the ground or the in-betweens. So keeping things linear just makes it more predictable. It's not that I'm finishing the animation, it's just now I know exactly where the halfway position is going to be.